Staff Studies platform is uniquely designed to administer high-stakes exams, such as longitudinal assessment exams, that serve, for instance, purposes of recertification, maintenance of certificate, or other use cases that have a high emphasis on the aspect of testing and assessing somebody's skills as opposed to increasing their knowledge. In these cases, it's important to administer these exams in a very controlled environment, make sure that fraud is as unlikely as can be, and that everybody is very clear about what assignments have to be completed in which time frame. Because of that, usually these assessments are scheduled into certain periods. In this case, you can see that there are 4 quarters with 30 questions each that the participant has to answer in order to complete this assessment. And at any point in time, it's clear where they need to go. Questions in these exams are usually multiple choice questions, although the system would also support other question types, but they tend to be very defensible and easy to explain. At any point in time, if a user chooses to leave a question while a timer is running, for instance, they get a warning that exiting the question without answering will lead to the question being counted as incorrect. The same will happen when the user hits the next button without answering. The timer will only stop once somebody actually answers a question. The timer is well protected against manipulation, so closing the browser window or even rebooting the computer will not change the running time. Everything else is outside of the timed period. So for instance, the metacognitive questions, which serve to collect data about the questions themselves, as well as encourage the learner to look at the question again. Usually it's a question about confidence in answering the question and the relevance to the practice of the learner, of the participant. What follows then in longitudinal assessments is usually a relatively small explanation because it's not meant to enhance somebody's knowledge, as in the case of test and learning. It's actually just meant to explain why a certain answer was wrong and provide some reference material to substantiate that claim. At that point in time, the user can also give feedback about the question, either in the form of like or dislike buttons or with written feedback. And they can also choose to bookmark a question to revisit it at a later point in time. The entire experience works on any screen size, virtually any screen size. The system is built so that all the elements can responsively rescale to fit the device of the learner. However, if somebody comes to a question on a small device and the question contains images, for instance, a warning dialog will tell them about the images so that they can choose if they want to look at that particular question on a different device, because the image might not render well or might not be big enough on a mobile phone or smaller device. If the participant clicks exit here, they are not penalized in any way. The question is going to be presented again the next time they enter the system, and until then it will not be counted as incorrect. In addition to this kind of main dashboard that the user uses to track their progress through the quarters, and essentially the quarters will open as the time arrives when they're scheduled to open. So for instance, quarter 2 here would open on April 1st. The user can at any point in time look at a more detailed progress information page, which serves to communicate from the assessment, the organization administering the assessment, to the learner what kind of requirements they have to fulfill in order to pass the exam. So for instance, in this case, it's required to fully answer 12 quarters out of each 5-year cycle. So 30 questions per quarter, and out of the 5-year cycle, which are 20 quarters overall, 12 quarters have to be completed. At this point, I'm at question 29 in my current quarter. I'm not doing well. My score is actually at almost 0. And I can always look at the development of my score over time, over the last 120 questions. I can look at my distribution of my correctness values, my confidence and relevance values, broken down by different time intervals, and then basically decide to go back into question mode to improve my score by answering further questions. The system also in the backend has support for warning participants that fall below certain performance thresholds and require additional remediation. Saved items, just as well as history, which means basically all items I've answered in the past, is a view that can be filtered by many different categories. I can filter to correct, incorrect, filter according to my confidence score or by time, so that I can easily find questions that I got wrong or that I found interesting over the course of the exam, because you have to keep in mind it might take me 10 years to go through the entire exam. If at any point I have problems using the system, I can always open the support chat window, which allows me to have a real-time chat with the support agent, or if I'm there after hours, I will be able to leave a message that will be entered into a self-studies ticket system automatically to be picked up by the service agent once business hours commence. The hamburger menu at any point in time provides me easy access to all functionality of the system.